Okay, so here we are underneath the car. Oh boy, I don't want to fucking destroy it. Oh yeah, that was a big mistake. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I didn't even know if I was going to shoot a video, but I guess I'm going to. So this is going to be another part, like for the brake system on the Pontiac, and where the distribution block for the brake lines are going to go, and all that kind of stuff. And originally it was down on the frame rail by where the headers are at, and I don't like that because it's hot down there. So I'm going to put it right up next to the master cylinder. I've seen some pictures of cars that actually have this done, so that's what I'm going to do because I think it's better. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm in the process of hooking up some bracketry for it, and I got to put a Z bend in this here. I'll show you. So I'm going to put a Z bend in this, or a joggle, or a jog, or however you want to describe it. I'll get the camera positioned correctly here for a second. So this is going to be like the base of the rear, for the rear part of the bracket that goes like right here, and it'll be on here like this. And this part's going to go into an existing hole that's in the fender well. And this is going to bolt to the rear of it. Okay, but the way it sits in there, and you'll see when I walk it back over there, this distribution block is like a little close to the master cylinder, and I need to bring it this way. So I want to put a jog in this thing, and I don't have a metal brake or anything like that. So I'm gonna melt this with a torch and bring it this way and then bend it that way, and that'll give me what I'm looking for, hopefully. So there you go. Well, that's not helping shit. Try it again. See, every time you heat it, it wants to move on you. I'm going to have to turn it a different way. Okay, maybe third time be a charm, right? Alright, that's what I want. Run it over to the car and see if it works. Okay, I hope you all can see what I'm doing here. Might not be able to see, but I'll get down here and give you a couple of shots in a minute. There's an existing hole here that had a plug in it for something. Who knows what kind of wire might have been running through there at one time or another, but this bracket right here is going to go sit right on top of that. I'm going to go right there, and then this is going to go right here, and I think I got what I want. Yeah. So I'll get the camera down here so you can see kind of what I'm doing. There's the hole I was talking about in the fender. So this bottom part right here is gonna sit on top of that hole, like that. And you gotta try and vision out what I'm going for here. And that's going to sit there like that, and once I make a couple more bends, see now this and this back fitting right here was too close to the vacuum chamber there, so that's why I'm going to put this jog in the bottom of that bracket. So, and I'll be able to flex this now without the torch and all that and finalize that. And then there's another mounting hole right here. I'm probably going to make another bracket, and it'll just go onto the fender right here somewhere. I'll drill a hole, put a nut and a bolt in there. Boom, there you go. So here's what I'm trying to go for. So here's the two outlets for the master cylinder. Going to the top fittings of the distribution block. I'm just going to sit like so. Some right around this area right here like this. And this rear outlet goes to the main line that goes to the back of the car for the rear brakes back there. And this one is for the right side brake. And there's one on the bottom right here for the left side. So when it's all said and done and I kind of got this thing in here like so, I'm going to have to make a real crazy bend for the top one and drop that down right behind my hand to the original bracket for the drum brake down there, and I think that's going to work fine. It's just going to take some creative tube bending there. So this is what this is what I'm going for. And when I connect the two lines that come off of the master cylinder going to the distribution block, I'm going to put a curly cue in there too. And it's going to make it easier to fit it up and diminish any vibration issues, fatiguing the hard lines. So that's what I'm going for right now. I'm gonna get back on this bracket here and see how this turns out. Okay, so after a few more heats and bends and such, this is how I arrived at the mounting location for the distribution block. Okay, I got plenty of room here between the vacuum chamber and this connection, and you got the two top connections going from here to 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 here, and plenty of room to make a bend underneath here, pretty sure, and plenty of room here. I'm gonna make a bend, just come up and make it immediate right-hander there. That'll go down to the right-hand side of the car. And I still have to make the other bracket for the front. So that'll be the next thing. And then we'll think, I think I'll have a done deal, at least for this part of it anyhow. Okay, there's the final version. I've got this little bracket I made right here. Found some material in my scrap bin. Put a little 90-degree bend in there, drilled some holes, and some nuts and bolts and such. And a little spacer in here. And visually, looks pretty good. It's on line with the master cylinder. I even elected to tilt it back at a similar angle. And even if that's not quite right, it'd take a nitpicker to pick out that particular detail. So, come around to the front here. Kind of like what it looks like here underneath. I'll turn the light on, see what we got going on here. So you can see the jog I put in the one bracket. And this is something I hadn't been able to even see until now. That particular bolt had to be cut because it was hitting the fender. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Next up, run the 2 lines from here to the master cylinder. Alrighty, like I said, I got the 2 kit hoses, and I want to put a curlicue in to meet down at those connections. And these were originally bent so that they would go from the master cylinder down to the bottom of the car where the distribution block was originally supposed to go, but I didn't like that. So I got it mounted here, and now I worked with it for about 15 minutes and got all the bends out except the 2 at the ends. And you got a bend in this here, and the inlet's right here. And just for aesthetics, my own personal preference, I'd like to have it like this, but putting at least 2 rounds into this and then having it come down and meet here, them coils are going to be really tight because it's just going to be. And so I can do this and space it this way and just kind of have this bend be like at a, you know, a 25-degree angle each way. That won't look too bad, I guess, but this is just me, right? And I can leave it right here and then put a couple rounds in it, and that would be good. Or, as I did with this, you know, up and down part right here that's going to get curled around, actually try and straighten this out a little bit or all the way, and that would be the preferable thing for me to want. So I'm going to try that and see how it turns out, and we'll get back. Okay, here we are at the bench. And I'm going to attempt to straighten that out. I can get my viewing audience a good view of what I'm trying to do here. I know it's hard to see, but the bend that's like inside of the vice jaw here a little bit, as I apply pressure this way, it's kind of reversing back on itself a little bit and performing like a self-straightening action. Okay, this turned out better than expected. I'll pull back here. Alright, so yes, this is pretty straight, I have to say. Mount it up back on the car and see what we got. That's on there pretty good. So, alright, so I got this is all perpendicular and straight, the way I'm wanting it. Now the trick from here is to put the curlicue in put the bend in, and the more I think about it, and the more I'm looking at this, I may want to dip this area right here down and angle it down a little bit. Because I'm going to I have a piece of inch and 5/8 fence post from a previous project. I'm going to wrap the line around and put the curly Q in. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a detriment. I'd rather put this in, I think, first, and then see how it's going to run. I mean, I don't think I'm going to have a hood clearance issue. Now, I'm just going to leave it like that and do the bend. Alright, so I'm going to take the line back out. We're going to fit this up in the vise. And put the bend in it. And that's going to be it. So now I got the first one in. I'm going to come around one more time, and that'll be the bottom bend for the outlet of the master cylinder. Here we go. Looks good. I'm surprised, man. This came out as good as it did. Spread this little area around right here. I'm gonna make some fine-tuning adjustments here. It's not gonna be so bad. And I'll have it come this way and then straight perpendicular right into the master cylinder. So the trick here is to vision this out so you can make your measurement, right? So I gotta try and bend this, curve this up a little bit. Get you down there. So yeah, this is the original 90 degree that came off and just came up, made a curly Q right, and tune that up a little bit. And once I get this all installed, like bend this back a little bit so things match up. You see, one of the front ones looks a little bit bigger, so yeah. But just kind of like cut it. So I gotta come down. So I'm gonna cut it a little long, right? And then start making a bend down towards there. I'll get a ruler and measure that sucker, man. Okay, so I did a measure. And from this point down to the approximate center is about 2.5. Now let's do a closer look at it here. And it's more like 2 3/4. So we'll go with that. And then coming underneath from the edge here to the center point, like right around in here, looking down. Put that right at 2.5. It's about 2.5. So we're looking at 5 1/4 inches. So I'm gonna go with 5 1/4. And I'm gonna go with 5 1/4 and add that 1/4 inch on just for safety's sake. Because if I cut it too short and it don't work, now I gotta make a new one. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut it at 5 and I'm gonna cut like right where this point is right here, where it's gonna start to go down this way. 5 1/4 inches. And we'll straighten that out and bend that in shape and put the flares on it. Okay, I think I've arrived at what I want, for at least the rear one. So this is the final fitment. So I cut it at 5 1/2. because it's easier to take off little nips than to try and add it. You just don't do that unless you're from the Q continuum or some shit like that. But anyway, and this has got this little extra here that's pushing in, and that'll be like a little angle, but that doesn't matter because you can manipulate those curly cues a little bit and bring that straight up and down, which is going to happen. So the final thing right here is to pull this back off and put the flare in it and call this one in the back, this rear hard line for the master cylinder, a done deal. Okay, there it is. Man, this turned out, I just cannot, yeah, this looks really nice. I think anyway. That vertical's vertical and a horizontal down the bottom's horizontal. Yeah, right, that word, horizontal. This is like 99% installed. Okay, let's make the front one. I'm liking it. Got the coils matched up. Right? This bend right here was tough because I don't got no bender that'll do that. That was done with the vise and a pair of a crescent wrench. Got it started and then hand bent that the rest of the way. And all this was all hand bent too, using my fingers and stuff, because the bender I have is just, it's made for like big bends, big radiuses and all that stuff. But so yeah, you look at it from the front. Straight through. And so and I even have space to come off of here. This is the front brake connection, so I can come off of here, go right across here, go down here, plenty of space. Do that. So there it is. Okay then, if you've made it this far to the end of the video, thanks for stopping by, watching my stuff. This couldn't have turned out any better. I mean, it's really something I could pull this off. Is all I can say about that. And please like, subscribe, and share. I'll have a couple of links over here somewhere off to the side, right? And included at the end of this video, I'm going to have a small amount of bonus footage for some stuff that's going on to the rear axle. It has kind of have to do with the brake lines. So I'm going to show that to you now. Okay, this will be a video on itself, but in order to find out, because here's the fitting that comes off. So so I got the axle back in, and the line comes off the top and goes into this fitting right here, and off of this, and I'm gonna have to make a bend down pretty sharp, and then come over here somewhere and trying to route this through here, and then go down the front of the car. I don't know if you can see, but whatever, into the frame rail. So I got a new exhaust system going in. Got some Flowmaster Super 40s, 3-inch exhaust. I ordered this off of eBay, and it's really close for 68 through 72 A body. But of course, you're gonna have to tweak it, and I'll show the full extent of what I'm doing here, because I've already made a couple of pie cuts just to bring this radius in a little bit tighter. And I'm probably gonna have to do some more cutting and fitting to try and get this right here back towards the shock a little bit, so it runs like through this area right here a little more. And then again too, I'm going to run a little bit bigger tire size, so I was checking out that clearance as well. So that's it. I'm going to keep this short. Just I had to like get this all in and kind of like rough this out so I can see where that brake line is going to go. That's it.